So today I'm going to be showing you how to do bus stop method. So we'll start by doing a very simple number, a nice small one, 5, and then after that I'll do a slightly more complicated one with you so you know how to tackle any type of problem. So we'll start with a simple one. So we have 26 divided by 5. So this is how you normally write division, and that would be fine if this number was in the 5 times table. However, it's not, so we need to write it in a slightly different way, and this is what we call bus stop. So we're going to write it out. So put the 5 on the outside of the bus stop, draw a little bus stop, and then 26 in the middle, like that. So bigger number goes inside, smaller number goes outside. This is called a divisor, in case you're interested. So now what we need to do is we can break it down to work it out, which will make it a lot more manageable. So rather than doing how many 5s go into 26, we can do it digit by digit. So we can instead do how many 5s go into 2. The answer to that, of course, is 0, because 5 is quite considerably bigger than 2. So because no 5s go into 2, we write a 0 on the top. However, we still have 2 left over, so we write the 2 next to the 6. No 5s go into 2, we can carry the 2 across, making this number 26. So now we need to ask ourselves, how many 5s go into 26? Well, we know that 5 times 5
is 25.
is 5. So it's a fairly good guess that you would have 5s to go into 26. However, we would also have 1 left over, because we know that 5 times 5 is 25, not 26. And as 26 is 1 more than 5, we have a remainder of 1, which we will put up at the top. So we write that quite simply, big 5, a little r, and then 1. 5, remainder 1. And that's all there is to it. Now you know how to do basic bus stop method, you can apply that same concept to working out slightly more difficult calculations. So for example, by knowing how to do 26 divided by 5, you can apply the same concept to know how to do 5,473 divided by 20. It's very basic, the exact same concept. The only thing is that our numbers are a little bit higher, so they're not normally in the times table. But that can be addressed very simply. So I don't know my 20 times table, so it won't be as simple to work out how many numbers go into each one. But what we can do is, before we start this, write out our 20 times table. So, for example, we can write it out at the side. So we know we have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, and so on. But I'll stop there for now because we shouldn't need to go any higher than that for this. So now we can start trying to solve this. So we can look at, firstly, how many 20s go into 5? Well, 5's a much smaller number than 20, so we know that there will be no 20s going into 5. But because we haven't used 5 up, we need to carry it across. So we carry it across, meaning this becomes 54. So we can then ask ourselves, okay, how many 20s go into 54? We don't know our 20 times table, but thankfully we've written it out at the side. So we know that 20 times 2 is 40. That is smaller than 54. So we can use that. Now we need to work out how many 20s go into 54. So we don't know our 20 times table, but we've written it out at the side. So 54 is between 40 and 60, or between 2 lots of 20 and 3 lots of 20. So because 54 is not quite as big as 60, we have to use this one, which is 2 times 20. So we know that 20 goes into 54 twice, because 20 times 2 is 40. So we write a 2 at the top. However, we definitely have some left over, because 2 times 20 is 40 and our number is 54. Therefore, we have 14 left over. So I'll write that at the bottom, just so you know. Okay, lovely, 14 left over. So what we do with this 14 is we add it to the next number along. So what was 7 has now become 147 because we've added our 14 to it, like so. So then again, we just repeat the process. So when we've asked how many 20s go into 5, how many 20s go into 54, now we ask how many 20s go into 147. So, much like before, we'd refer to our 20 times table down the side. So, we know that 20 goes into 140 because 140 is 20 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we know that 20 goes into 140 7 times. So we can write 7 at the top. However, we're going to have a remainder because 20 goes into 140. It doesn't go into 147. So we have a remainder of 7. We can write our remainder here in the next column like we did before. Meaning that our next calculation we need to work out is how many times does 20 go into 73. So again, we can refer to our 20 times table that we wrote out earlier. So we know that 60 is 20 times 3. So that will be a good one to use. We can't use 20 times 4 because 80 is bigger than 73. So we have to use 60. So we know that 20 goes into 60 1, 2, 3 times. So we can write 3 up at the top. But 20 goes into 60 3 times, but we're not using 60, we're using 73. So there's going to be a pretty hefty remainder. In fact, our remainder is 13. So normally you'd write the remainder next to the next number, so you can use that again. But as this is our last number, all we do is we write a little r and then 13. So now we know that our answer is 273, little r for remainder, 13. So the answer to 5,473 divided by 20 is 273 remainder 13.